So how many of you have that one friend that you go out to dinner with that creates the cringe in the conversation almost every single time? Okay, so I'm not alone. Like my friend Carol, we were out the other night and we started talking about tattoos, and what comes out of her mouth is this: I'll only get one of my son's name, so he'll never be able to forget where he came from. You would have thought I was the only one at the dinner table that actually got that, and of course I went there. Carol, so you're going to get a tattoo of your son's name on your vagina. First question, why is your 22-year-old looking at your vagina? Next question, product placement, are we talking inner or outer lip? How about a big gold pouch that goes around the belly button? That says, Paul was here. Thank God she didn't name him Dick. It would have been a tramp stamp and an epitaph of the last time she had gotten any. I quickly decided to change that conversation because it would have gone all night. So I thought I was going to do something safe, and I started to talk about Amazon Prime Days. How many of you have gone on Amazon and you can find whatever you want, right? I'm out with a bunch of straight white women, so it was pretty mundane. Hair curlers, bread maker, and of course, my cringe has to come up because they asked me what I found. And mine was a little bit spicier. I found this thing called the Clone-A-Willy. Have you seen it? I held off because I thought it was going to be a bigger deal on Black Friday. You got it. But I had to explain it to them, so I can literally make a mold of my own penis and go fuck myself. Which Carol was probably thinking anyway. But then I asked the question, does that also make me a narcissist? Carol was not allowed to answer that. Carol no longer talks to me. I can't say I blame her. I just turned 60 a couple of months ago. So in addition to getting old comes some of the things like some memory issues, so I have to learn like word association or visualization just to kind of remember things. Case in point, my next door neighbor, Mrs. Flores, who a million times told me to call her by her first name. And do you think I can remember what her first name is? No. Until I ran into her in the hallway the other day, and she had her own overshare Carol moment, and told me she'd been to the gynecologist because her vagina had dropped. And immediately I remembered Consuelo's name. Do you guys think your phones are listening to you?
That doesn't move.
Because I think my phone's listening to me, because as soon as I started having these kind of conversations, the weirdest stuff started popping up in my Instagram feed. I started saying things like, we wish you a Merry Clitmas. Motivational ones like, make every moment cunt. I was getting twat targeted. The funniest though was the targeted ads. Vaginal steam cleaning. I didn't know it was such a thing. But I also didn't know that Stanley Steamer did both kinds of carpets. Interesting, right? I wasn't born a bitch. You may think otherwise right now. I came by it to survive school bullying. How many were school bullied here besides me? Not only was I the gay queer kid in school, I was also the fat kid. I had big twink titties the size of 7th grade sandbags. The nicest things I was called in the schoolyard were Little Debbie D-cups and the Dairy Fairy. Needless to say, I grew up with a lot of body dysmorphia. Anybody relate? So, as an adult, I decided I wanted to remedy the situation. I looked into it and I decided to do cool sculpting. Anybody know cool sculpting? Yeah. So, I decided to cool sculpt twinkles and sprinkles and freeze the fat away. Which is what they're supposed to do when they do that. Most men freeze their sperm. I froze my breast milk. And at the end of the procedure, I had 2 frozen solid sticks of butter, that they proceeded to try and defrost by kneading them out into 2 sourdough starters. I think I left the place with a yeast infection. True confession, every time I walk by a Magnolia Bakery, my nipples still get hard.